Will our marble make it across?
3, 2, 1, hang on, move!
4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
I'm Ricky.
I'm Jamie.
And as you can see, we're stuck in split screen.
Not only that, but we have been told that for this episode, we cannot leave our squares.
I mean, I could leave my square just like, oh, okay, well, but I won't. I won't leave my square.
Doesn't quite seem fair that we can't leave our square.
Oh, that's a good rhyme. Doesn't seem fair in the square. Doesn't seem fair in the square. I like it.
That's pretty good. I feel like I started to do the chicken dance. I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
Do you guys know
just
the chicken
let
dance?
the music take you wherever it needs to.
Well, it does seem pretty fitting that we are talking about unfair situations this week.
Yeah, have you ever noticed situations that seem less fair for someone than it does for others?
Have you ever seen injustice in your school or in your neighborhood or around the globe?
Justice wants God's best for everyone. So how can we step in and help?
We choose to see. We choose to stop. We choose to serve. Oh, let's make that into a jingle.
Oh, that's good. We choose to see, we choose to stop, we choose to serve. We choose to see, we choose to stop, we choose to serve. Yeah.
Choose to see. We choose to stop. We choose to serve.
Yeah. I like it. It's jazzy. Our friend Tavares came up with this great idea that comes from a story that Jesus told.
That parable or story is called the Good Samaritan. Let's check this out.
So Jesus starts telling this story. So in Luke 10, 30 through 35, he says this. In reply, Jesus said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of all his clothes, beat him, and then they went away, leaving him half dead. So a priest happened to go down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed on the other side. So then to a Levi, when he came to the place and saw him, he passed by on the other side. But to Samaritan, as he traveled, he came to the man where he was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. Now there's something you have to understand here, is that there is a really big picture of something that we're missing. Because this Jewish man that was beat up and this Samaritan man, they were taught to hate each other. In fact, they had been in conflict with each other for many, many, many years. So they had tension, but yet this Samaritan man stops exactly where he is and he begins to take care. And in my mind, I think about this. You've been in conflict with this person for so long. You've been taught since you've been born to hate this person, this Jewish man, but yet you loved enough to stop and to engage. He chose to see, he chose to stop, and he chose to serve. So how did he choose to see? In verse number 33, it simply says, he saw him and he took pity on him. In other words, he saw his pain. He saw what he was going through. And even though in that moment, all these other people walked by, he was like, I have to do something. But the second part that really makes more sense is that he stopped. Not only did he see his pain, but he chose to stop. And what I think about sometimes is how many times do we see people in our lives that are maybe hurting, that are maybe going through situations that are not fair, like maybe someone in your family, maybe a friend, maybe someone you just don't even know. Do you have the eyes to see and the will to stop, to see what is actually going on around you? And lastly, it's probably my favorite. He chose to serve. If he would have just stopped and bandaged this man's wounds, it would have been okay. Because he helped him, right? No. He put him on his donkey, that's some work, took him to an inn, actually stayed with him for a moment, and then said, hey, I'm gonna pay you right now, but I'm gonna leave, and when I come back, anything else that's owed, I'm gonna actually give it to you. He not only did all that, but he used his own resources, his own money, his own time. We know how we feel about our money and our time. It's very valuable. But he chose to take a moment to actually serve. That's my favorite part.
5, 6, 7, 8. We choose to see, we choose to stop, we choose to serve. Yeah.
We choose to see, we choose to stop, we choose to serve.
Yeah.
Ooh, mystery hand, thank you. Using the cardboard we've given you, you have to bridge the gap. The marble will start on Ricky's wall and must run to the end on Jamie's wall. And remember, you cannot leave your square.
Okay.
Thank you, mystery hand. All right.
Okay, so it's gonna start over here, it's gonna end over there.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, let's go! I'm gonna work on the cardboard length first. How's it going over there, Jamie?
I feel like I'm not making as much progress as you are, but I'm working.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Jamie, can you pass me the tape?
Yes. All right, I think that's gonna work. Okay, yeah, this is fine.
All right, Jamie, I'm gonna have to hand you something.
That's not right. Oh boy.
Here you go. I'm gonna give you 2 pieces of tape on your end.
Okay, this is not
Leave your
right.
square.
Okay.
All right, so that's for you. You can take those pieces of tape off.
Okay.
But very nice.
So you're good.
Okay. All right, Jamie, I'm gonna see if sending these your way will help.
It's just the tape is what's taking me the longest.
Here.
Yeah, if I could just have pieces of tape, that would be great.
Here you go.
The tape is very, very helpful. Maybe I should have tried it from up here, but I think it'll still be fine.
Connect it to the wall, kind of like that. I think it might.
Okay, we're done.
Okay, I think we did it. Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. You
Okay.
ready?
If you were a praying mantis, it would be socially acceptable to devour your mate.
And if you're a honey badger, you have no regard for other animals. You don't care.
If you're a panda with twins, it's normal to abandon one to take care of the other.
But if humans do any of these things, we would call it wrong, unfair, or unjust.
Yeah, why is that? Why do humans care so much about justice?
Well, the Bible has a fascinating response to that question. On page 1, humans are set apart from all other creatures as the image of God.
Yeah, God's representatives who rule the world by his definition of good and evil.
And this identity, it's the bedrock of the Bible's view of justice. All humans are equal before God and have the right to be treated with dignity and fairness no matter who you are.
And that would be nice if we all did that. But we know how the world really works.
And the Bible addresses that too. It shows how we are constantly redefining good and evil to our own advantage at the expense of others.
Yeah, self-preservation. And the weaker someone is, the easier it is to take advantage of them.
And so in the biblical story, we see this happening on a personal level, but also in families, and then in communities, and in whole civilizations that create injustice, especially towards the vulnerable. But the story doesn't end there. Out of this whole mess, God chose a man named Abraham to start a new kind of family. Specifically, Abraham was to teach his family to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice.
Yeah, doing righteousness, that's a Bible word I don't really use, but what comes to mind is being a good person.
But what does that even mean, being good? The biblical Hebrew word for righteousness is tzedakah, and it's more specific. It's an ethical standard that refers to right relationships between people. It's about treating others as the image of God,
With the God-given dignity they deserve.
and this word justice, it's the Hebrew word mishpat. It can refer to retributive justice.
Like if I steal something, I pay the consequences.
Exactly. Yet most often in the Bible, mishpat refers to restorative justice. It means going a step further, actually seeking out vulnerable people who are being taken advantage of and helping them.
Yeah, some people call this charity.
But mishpat involves way more. It means taking steps to advocate for the vulnerable and changing social structures to prevent injustice.
So justice and righteousness are about a radical, selfless way of life.
Yeah, and you find this idea all over the Bible.
We all participate in injustice, actively or passively, even unintentionally. We're all the guilty ones.
And so this is the surprising message of the biblical story. God's response to humanity's legacy of injustice is to give us a gift, the life of Jesus. He did righteousness and justice, and yet he died on behalf of the guilty. But then God declared Jesus to be the righteous one when he rose from the dead. And so now Jesus offers his life to the guilty so that they too can be declared righteous before God, not because of anything they've done, but because of what Jesus did for them.
The earliest followers of Jesus experienced this righteousness from God, not just as a new status, but as a power that changed their lives and compelled them to act in surprising new ways.
Yeah, if God declared someone righteous when they didn't deserve it, the only reasonable response is to go and seek righteousness and justice for others.
This is a radical way of life, and it's not always convenient or easy. It's courageously making other people's problems my problems.
This is what Jesus meant by loving your neighbor as yourself. It's about a lifetime commitment fueled by the words of the ancient prophet Micah. God has told you, humans, what is good and what the Lord requires of you. Is to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.
So we have our bridge, we have our marble, and we're gonna see if this marble can travel all around this precarious contraption we have.
I believe in our bridge.
Start from the top. You ready, Jamie?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Come on, Marvel, go, Marvel, go.
Can we get a countdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, Marble, go.
Yeah! It made
Yes. Edge of the square. Hi.
Hey!
Yay.
Wow.
I'm so excited.
It got bumpy here. I was nervous for a second.
We all belong, we all belong. We all belong, we all belong to each other. We all belong, we all belong. We all belong. Just as our bodies have many parts, and each part has a special function. So it is with the body of Christ. We are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other. We all belong, we all belong. We all belong, we all belong to each other. We all belong, we all belong. We all belong, we all belong to each other. We are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other. We are many parts of one body. We all belong, we all belong.
Hey guys, so I heard that we've been talking about justice and diversity. And what I know is that justice, it is not seeking revenge. In fact, Jesus, he talked a lot about this when he was here on earth. He talked about how justice is not taking matters into your own hands. Standing for justice means that we stand up for people even when it's uncomfortable or even when no one else is doing it. And we reject injustice by owning responsibility, unity, and fighting for justice with love and forgiveness. You see, we belong together. When gaps appear in our friendships, we build bridges. And God's justice is taking a world that's been thrown off kilter by sin and restoring it back to equal. We believe firmly in a future where every single person and their full dignity is restored. You see, Jesus calls us to love our neighbor as ourselves, no matter what or who our neighbor is. And when we do this, we are the hands and feet of Jesus here on earth, being examples to everyone around us of what it looks like to love Him. I know that the story of God is big, and it takes every single person to do it. And when we stand up for justice, we recognize that every single person matters to God, and every single person has a story that God is writing. We make friends that change our perspective. We cover the gaps, we forgive freely, and we build bridges with justice because we know that we belong together.
All right, I'm gonna test it.
Wait. We're not supposed to move out of our squares.
But we built the bridge, so I'm gonna test it. Here we go. I did it!
Yay!
We did it!
Woohoo! We choose to seek, we choose to stop, we choose to serve. Yeah!
Just like it says in the book of Romans, we are many parts of one body and we all belong to each other.
Jesus called us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, and we are all about it.
So let's build bridges of justice because we belong to each other.
We all belong together.
All right, let's say it all together.
Enjoy the ride! We choose to see, we choose to stop, we choose to serve. Yeah! Yeah! I love challenges where we get to work together as a team.
Yeah, great teamwork.
Yeah, woohoo!
Now, don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified every time that we upload a new video. You'll be the first to know and you can tell all your friends about it.
Yeah, and team up with your friends, and you guys can all subscribe together or make a marble run like this one.
Yeah, show us how it looks like.